非常感谢主耶稣让我们虽然没有办法到教会去参加聚会，但是可以在网上、在线上来聚会，一起来侍奉。
We thank the Lord that even though we're unable to physically go to church service, we can still have worship service over the internet virtually and to serve God.
求主耶稣将他的平安恩惠都丰丰富富的赏赐给我们每一位。
We ask the Lord Jesus to grant every one of us His grace and His blessings.
那我们现在奉主耶稣圣名来开始聚会。
In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, we begin this service.
今天晚上想要跟大家一起来学习的道理是旷野中的教会。
This evening, the topic of our mutual encouragement is the church in the wilderness.
我们请先看《使徒行传》第7章。
Let us first turn to the book of Acts, chapter 7.
请看《使徒行传》第7章。
The book of Acts, chapter 7.
37节。
Verse 37.
And 38节。
And 38.
使徒行传第7章37节和38节。
Acts chapter 7 verses 37 to 38.
这里说，那曾对以色列人说，神要从你们弟兄中间给你们兴起一位先知，像我的，就是这位摩西。38节。
38.
这人曾在旷野会中和西乃山上与那对他说话的天使同在，又与我们的祖宗同在，并且领受活泼的圣言传给我们。
Verses 37 and 38. This is what Moses who said to the children of Israel. This is that Moses who said to the children of Israel, the Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brethren. Him you shall hear. This is he who was in the congregation in the wilderness with the angel who spoke to him on Mount Sinai and with our fathers, the one who received the living oracles to give to us.
在这个地方讲到说，这位摩西他38节说他曾经在旷野会中和西乃山上与那对他说话的天使同在。
Here it says that Moses was the one who was in the congregation was with the congregation in the wilderness, the angel on Mount Sinai.
在NKJV 就是刚才Scott 所读的他圣经里面他是说the congregation in the wilderness 在旷野中的会众。
Here it says that he was in the congregation in the wilderness.
那在 KJV 就是 King James Version 里面他说这是 the church in the wilderness.
In the King James Version, though, this statement reads the church in the wilderness.
那这个 church 这个字它也是在以弗所书第1章那个地方所讲到的教会就是基督的身体的那个教会。
And the word congregation here is the same word as in the book of Ephesians chapter 1, where it talks about the church being the body of Christ.
那也是在希伯来书第12章那个地方所说的就是说那些诸长子所共聚的总会就是教会。
And similarly, the same word as in Hebrews chapter 12, talking about the
assembly of and church of the firstborn.
It is the assembly of the church of the firstborn.
就是是同一个字的就是说旷野中的这个在司提反他在正道的时候就称那些以色列百姓40年在旷野他们等于是在旷野中的一个教会。
And so the word here spoken by Stephen, the word congregation, NKJV, is also church in those two other passages.
Yeah, 我们可以想象得到，就是说以色列百姓他们离开埃及以后，他们在旷野走了将近40年。
We can imagine this, that after the Israelites departed from Egypt, they walked in the wilderness for 40 years.
那就好像一群羊在旷野中漂流。
just like a flock of sheep wandering in the wilderness.
我们如果从高处看的话，那就是一群羊。
If we're looking from high above, we would just see a flock of sheep.
那光是男生，就是超过20岁以上的男生，就已经有大约60万。
And there were about 600,000 males who were above the age of 20.
那其他再加上妇人、小孩如果说全部加起来的话，大约是会有150万到200万。
And if we add in the women and children, then there would approximately be between 1.5 to 2 million people.
那他们是在旷野里面等于是单独在那里行动。
And they were wandering in the wilderness alone.
我们在2个星期以前讲到独居的民。
2 weeks ago, we talked about a people dwelling alone.
那是在他们40年将要结束的时候，那有一个术士就是巴兰，他从小山上就看那个以色列营。
It was towards the end of their 40-year journey in the wilderness, and Balaam saw them from far away.
他所说的那句话，就好像对以色列40年旷野的生活做了一个总结。
And he called them a people dwelling alone, and it effectively summarizes the time that the Israelites spent in the wilderness, those 40 years.
他说这一群他们是独居的民，他不列在万民中。
He called this people a people dwelling alone that is not listed among all the other nations.
他本来是要被找来，是要来咒诅那些百姓的。
He was originally called there to curse those people.
但是当他讲完这句话以后，他说他宁愿是他们当中的一位。
But after he spoke these words, he said he would rather to be among them.
他愿意他自己能够死在他们当中，跟他们等于是没有离开这一群。
He wished that he could die with this group and not depart from this group of people.
所以我们知道说这一群这一些等于是以色列百姓，他们在旷野的时候，他们等于是没有外界的接触。
So the Israelites, while they were in the wilderness, they did not have contact with other people.
他也没有受到外来的影响。
Neither were they influenced by anyone else.
所以他被称作是独居的民。
That is why they are called a people dwelling alone.
那这个没有外界的接触那没有外来的影响，这个就好像我们现在这个 social distancing。
And having no contact with the outside world and not being influenced by anyone else is analogous to the social distancing that we're experiencing today.
就好像现在我们都住在自己的家里，那没有到外面去跟人随便的接触。
Just like how we're all at home now and we are not interacting with people outside.
那我们每天就是跟我们的家人住在一起。
And we live with our family every day.
就好像那些以色列民，他们也是一样，他们没有跟外界接触，就是在他们整个的他们这些百姓的当中。
Like the Israelites who were not interacting with people outside, they were only among their own people.
那我们要知道的就是说，这个教会旷野中的教会，这个教会这个字在那个希腊文它是叫做 ecclesia。
And this congregation or church in the wilderness, the word congregation here in NKJV in Hebrew is ecclesia.
在希腊文在 Greek。
In Greek, sorry.
那它的意思就是called out 就是被叫出来的，被呼召出来的。
And the meaning of that word is called out, or like a group that has been called out.
就好像这些以色列民，他们本来在埃及是当奴隶，他们生活在黑暗当中。
It is like the Israelites who were originally in Egypt and they were living a life of slavery.
他们没有办法做自己的主人，因为有埃及人、有法老在管制他们。
They were unable to be their own masters because the Egyptians and the Pharaoh were masters over them.
他们脱离不了这个埃及的习俗，他们在埃及那边有一些埃及人他们的祭祀习惯，他们也没有办法去摆脱。
They were unable to escape from the customs of the Egyptians and the other practice of the Egyptians that they could not come out of.
所以神就把他们从埃及把他们叫出来。
Therefore, God called them out of Egypt.
那神叫他们出来有一个目的。
And there was a purpose for God to call them out of Egypt.
请看出埃及记的第29章。
Let's turn to the book of Exodus, chapter 29.
出埃及记29章。
Exodus, chapter 29.
第45节和46节。
Verses 45 and 46.
这里神要这些百姓知道，他说我要住在所以神向摩西亚伦所说的我要住在以色列人中间，做他们的神。46节。他们必知道我是耶和华他们的神，是将他们从埃及地领出来的。我要住在他们中间，我是耶和华他们的神。
Verses 45 and 46, I will dwell among the children of Israel and will be their God. And they shall know that I am the Lord their God who brought them up out of the land of Egypt, that I may dwell among them. I am the Lord their God.
这个地方神说，我就是那把以色列人从埃及领出来的。
Here God says that he is the one who called out, brought out the children of Israel out of Egypt.
那神把这些以色列百姓从埃及领出来，有一个目的。
And there was a reason for God calling them out of Egypt.
就是为了要住在他们中间。
That was because God wanted to dwell among them.
所以这个经文让我们知道说，如果以色列人是留在埃及地的话，神不愿意住在他们当中。
The implication of this verse is that if the Israelites continue to dwell in Egypt, then God would not be willing to live with them.
因为在埃及住在埃及的时候，他们是跟埃及人相处在一起的。
Because while in Egypt, they dwelled with the Egyptians.
彼此受影响。
They influence one another.
所以神要他们离开，来从埃及地出来。
Therefore, God called them out of Egypt.
那神才要跟他们住在一起。
So that God would dwell with them.
所以在这个经文里面让我们看到两件。
So this passage tells us two things.
第一个就是说，他要以色列百姓非常确定说，他们离开埃及是神亲自把他们带出来的。
First, he wants the Israelites to know very clearly that they departed from Egypt because God brought them out of Egypt.
那第二件事情就是带出来的目的是为了要住在他们当中。
And the second is that the purpose of bringing them out is so that he may dwell with them.
我们看一下诗篇第77篇。
Let's turn to Psalm 77.
诗篇77篇。
Psalm 77.
19和20节。
Verses 19 and 20.
诗篇77篇19和20节。
Psalm 77 verses 19 and 20.
你的道在海中，你的路在大水中，你的脚中无人知道。请看19节。
Verse 19. Your way was in the sea, your path in the great waters, and your footsteps were not known.
这里讲到说，神他的道路他的做事的方式，他的方法他就好像在海中一样。
Here it describes how God's ways, his paths, and his methods were like walking in the sea.
那水你走过以后不会留下什么痕迹。
Because after you walk over the sea, you not leave any footsteps.
意思就是说，人没有办法去知道神他想要做的是什么，他做了什么。
This tells us that man is unable to imagine what God is going to do or what he has done.
因为神不必留下痕迹，让你可以查得出来。
Because God does not need to leave evidence for you to discover.
因为他按照自己的意思来行事，
Because he does according his own will.
他不必就是说他不必be responsive to anyone， 他不必对任何人必须要有一个答复。
He does not need to respond or answer to anyone.
他不必answerable to anyone 的哈。第20节，
Verse 20.
这里说你曾经借着摩西和亚伦的手引导你的百姓，好像羊群一般。
You led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron.
这个地方讲到说，神他借着摩西、亚伦来带领他的百姓。
This verse tells us that it is through Moses and Aaron that God leads his people.
他好像在带领羊群一样。
It is similar to guiding a flock.
我们再看诗篇78篇。
Let's continue to read Psalm 78.
第52节。
Verse 52.
这个地方讲到说，他还是指着神他却领出自己的民如羊，在旷野引他们如羊群。
Verse 52 says, But he, referring to God, made his own people go forth like sheep and guided them in the wilderness like a flock.
所以从这两处的经文，我们可以知道说，如果说以人的肉眼来看，是摩西跟亚伦在带领那些百姓。
Therefore, from these two passages, we see that from human perspective, it looks like it was Aaron and Moses that were guiding the Israelites.
但是非常重要的就是他背后是神在带领这些百姓，他亲自在带领。
But what is important is that behind it all, it was God who was himself personally guiding the Israelites.
摩西他只是按照神所带领的来带领那些百姓。
Moses guided the people according to the guidance of God.
他并没有自己的这种行动的计划。
He did not have any strategies or plans about where to go.
他是看神要他怎么带要走哪一条路，要什么时候走然后他才跟着走。
Rather, he allowed God to guide, to dictate when to go and where to go.
这也是我们今天教会要非常重视的一个行事的原则。
This is also a principle that our church should have today in our work.
我们请看民数记的第9章。
Let's turn to the book of Numbers, chapter 9,
第15节
verse 15
一直要读到第18节。
to 18.
15节这个地方说当他们立起帐幕的那日，有云彩遮盖帐幕，就是法柜的帐幕，从晚上到早晨，云彩在其上，形状如火。
Verse 15. Now on the day that the tabernacle was raised up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of the testimony, from evening until morning. It was above the tabernacle like the appearance of fire.
我们知道说以色列百姓他们离开埃及以后那3个月就来到西乃山。
After the Israelites departed from Egypt, within 3 months they arrived at Mount Sinai.
那在西乃山在西乃旷野那个地方神就为他们建立了祭司的制度。
And it was in the wilderness of Sinai that God established the priesthood for them.
那交代他们要设立会幕。
And instructed them to establish the tabernacle.
那在当中要摆神所叫他们做的这个约柜。
And within it, they would put the ark that God had instructed them to build.
所以在他们离开埃及以后，第1年里面，他们就已经立起了这个会幕。
So within a year of departing from Egypt, they had already had the tabernacle.
那这个会幕被立起来的那一天，就有云彩来遮盖帐幕。
And as soon as the tabernacle was raised up, the cloud covered the tabernacle.
第16节。
Verse 16.
常是这样云彩遮盖帐幕，夜间形状如火。
So it was always. The cloud covered it by day, and the appearance of fire by night.
这个云彩它遮盖会幕，它白天它是一个云柱那到晚上的时候，它就好像是火一样。
So this cloud that covered the tabernacle during the day, it was like a cloud, and at night it was like a fire.
17节，
17.
云彩几时从帐幕收上去，以色列人就几时起行。云彩在哪里停住，以色列人就在那里安营。18节，以色列人遵耶和华的吩咐起行，也遵耶和华的吩咐安营。云彩在帐幕上停住几时，他们就驻营几时。
17 and 18. Whenever the cloud was taken up from above the tabernacle, after that the children of Israel would journey, and in the place where the cloud settled, there the children of Israel would pitch their tents. At the command of the Lord, the children of Israel would journey, and at the command of the Lord, they would camp. As long as the cloud stayed above the tabernacle, they remained encamped.
在22节这个地方讲到说，云彩停留在帐幕上，无论是2天、是1月、是1年，以色列人就驻营不起行，但云彩收上去，他们就起行。
Verse 22 says, whether it was 2 days, a month, or a year that the cloud remained above the tabernacle, the children of Israel would remain encamped and not journey. But when it was taken up, they would journey.
所以发号施令的虽然是摩西，但真正在吩咐他们什么时候起行、什么时候安营的是神。
Therefore, even though the one that gives the instruction to leave is Moses, but behind it all, it was really God who was guiding them about where to go and when to go.
所以23节这里说他们遵神的吩咐安营，他并不是说他们遵摩西的吩咐来安营。
Therefore, in verse 23, it concludes that it is at the command of the Lord that they remain encamped. It does not say that it is at the command of Moses that they remain encamped.
他们也遵神的吩咐起行，他们守耶和华所吩咐的，都是凭耶和华吩咐摩西的。
And at the command of the Lord they journeyed. They kept the charge of the Lord at the command of the Lord by the hand of Moses.
所以我们知道说以色列百姓他们在旷野事实上是神在带领他们的道路。
Therefore, we see that in the wilderness, the Israelites were guided on their path by God.
他们是跟外界是不一样的，他们的生活方式，他们行事的原则，还有他们的一些价值观是跟世俗不一样的。
They were different from the nations around them. Their principles, their value, and their conduct were different from all the other nations.
我记得在好几年前，我曾经被邀请去参加一场婚宴。
I remember many years ago, I was invited to attend a wedding.
那新郎是我们教会的一位弟兄，但是没有常常来聚会。
The groom was a brother of our church who did not come to church very often.
那新娘是一个没有信主的人。
The bride was not a member of our church.
那因为这位弟兄他的妈妈从中国大陆来这边住了一段时间，他妈妈非常热心。
And because the brother's mother, who was from China, came here and lived here for a while and was very fervent.
所以他们结婚之前，他妈妈就邀请说，看能不能到他家去跟他们家庭聚会，那也讲一些婚姻的道理来勉励他们。
So before they were married, she asked me to go to their home to have service with them, to also talk to them about some teachings related to marriage.
那后来他们婚宴的时候，也邀请内人跟我一起去参加。
So when they had their wedding, they also invited myself and my wife to attend.
那在这个婚宴当中，他们有请一个主持人，所以非常的热闹。
And in their banquet, they invited an MC, so it was very energetic.
那在那些节目进行当中，中间都有一些就是一些 break 就是他稍微有停下来的时间。
And in between the various events during the banquet, there would be short breaks.
那在这些停下来的时间当中，这个主持人他就很大声的就一直在宣布说某某阿姨送几万块人民币。
And during the breaks, the MC would start announcing so and so person or so and so aunt gave this amount of money.
有些金额是非常非常吓人的，很大。
And some of the amounts were very great.
那就是一个一个都这样子来就报告出来了。
And one by one, these money amounts were announced.
那整个会场大家都非常兴奋。
And everyone at the banquet was very excited.
但是我坐在那个地方，感觉好像自己不是属于这里的。
But as I sat there, I felt that I did not belong to that place.
因为我到现在都还不能够了解为什么他们要这样子做。
And even until now, I don't understand why that was done.
但是我知道的一点就是说，在外面有很多的事情，我们是不能够适应，也不能够了解的。
But what I understood from that was that there are many things that go on outside that we are unable to understand and be accustomed to.
因为有很多这种价值的观念我们跟外面不一样。
Because there are many values where we differ from the outside world.
那我们看有时候有一些像电视影片我跟内人有时候是想说挑一个来看一下，但是常常都看了几分钟以后就没办法看下去，因为觉得说那里面不是一些就是有一些不好的镜头。
And sometimes my wife and I would want to find a show so that we can watch, but then after watching just a few minutes, we find that we're unable to continue watching because there are inappropriate scenes in the show.
所以后来就把它关掉，就睡觉了。
And so we turn it off and go to sleep.
那有时候会看到说，我们很多在标榜的一些英雄他们都是那种嫉恶如仇，有仇必报的那种人物。
And oftentimes we find that the heroes in the various stories are people who have vengeance against some other people.
那这个嫉恶如仇，就是恨恶罪恶，这是我们应该也是这个样子。
Now, to disdain evil is something that we too must have.
但是有仇必报，这个是我们不一样的。
But that is different from avenging evil. That is something that we should not imitate.
所以世界有一些一些观念、一些想法、一些做法，那是跟我们是完全不一样的。
Therefore, there are concepts and methods and ways in the world that are completely different from that of us.
所以我们必须要从世界分别出来，就好像教会这个名词，就是说要被呼召出来、被叫出来的。
And we have to therefore be separate from the world, just like the word, the church or congregation in the Bible, we must be called out.
我们来看一下《使徒行传》的第7章。
Let's turn to the book of Acts, chapter 7.
《使徒行传》第7章这个地方在讲到说这位摩西。
The book of Acts, chapter 7, talks about Moses.
在第7章里面，在讲摩西的时候，也是有2件事情我在教会中跟教会外是有不一样的做法。
When the book of Acts talks about Moses, we can also see 2 areas where the church is different from outside.
我们请看第7章的35节。
Let's read chapter 7, verse 35.
使徒行传第7章35节。
Acts chapter 7, verse 35.
这里说，这摩西就是百姓弃绝说，谁立你做我们的首领和审判官的，神却借那在井体中显现之使者的手，差派他做首领，做救赎的。
Verse 35, This Moses whom they rejected, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge, is the one God sent to be a ruler and a deliverer by the hand of the angel who appeared to him in the bush.
啊，这里讲到说，摩西他是百姓所弃绝的，是他们所弃绝的。
Here it says that Moses was rejected by the people.
啊，意思就是说，摩西他并不是民选的，他这个首领，他这个带领以色列百姓的带领者，他并不是百姓把他选出来的。
This means that Moses was not democratically elected by the people.
今天我们在社会上来讲，那你如果说没有民意的话，你怎么能够去做一些行政官呢？
In today's world, if you're not elected, then you don't have a mandate to do anything in the government.
但是在教会里面不一样
But in the church, it is different.
神差派他
God sends.
他是神所差派来的，
One is sent by God.
那就很自然的，他成为百姓的带领者。
And so the person then naturally becomes the leader of the people.
那神在差遣摩西的时候，并不是他最好的时候，最有能力的时候。
And when God sent out Moses was not the time when Moses was the greatest or the most powerful.
我们再看这一章的第22节。
Let's continue to read the same chapter here, verse 22.
22节这里说，摩西学了埃及人一切的学问，说话行事都有才能。23节，
23.
他将到40岁，心中起意去看望他的弟兄以色列人。25节，
25.
他以为弟兄必明白，神是借他的手要搭救他们，他们却不明白。
Verses 22, 23, and 25. And Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was mighty in words and deeds. Now when he was 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel, for he supposed that his brethren would have understood that God would deliver them by his hand, but they did not understand.
这个地方讲到说，摩西他在40岁的时候，那个时候他已经学会了由埃及人的一切学问。
Here it says that when Moses was 40, he was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians.
他说话行事都有才能。
He was mighty in both words and deeds.
所以他充满自信。
So he was full of confidence.
但是25节这个地方他说，他以为那些以色列民以色列人，他们只要看他的身份，看他所有的学问，他的才能，大概都可以想象说，他就是要来救他们脱离奴隶的世界的。
And in verse 25, it tells us that at that time Moses thought that because of all his abilities and his might, that the people would naturally understand that he would be their deliverer.
但是神却不是在这个时候差派他。
But God did not choose him or send him at that point in time.
因为他太厉害了。
Because he was too mighty in his own ways.
到时候神如果说要交代他去做一件事情，他可能就按照自己的方式去做了。
At that time, if God called him to do a certain thing, he would have perhaps done it his own way.
神如果告诉他说你去告诉百姓什么的时候，也许他就会加油添醋，他增加一些删减一些。
If God instructed him to give a command to the people, he might have thought to just add some of his own words or take away some of God's words.
因为他说话很有能力啊。
Because at this time he was mighty in words.
他可以用自己的才华来讲话。
He could speak with his own eloquence.
所以在这个时候，神并不差遣他。
Therefore, God did not send him at this point in time.
以今天的社会来讲，一个公司要用人，一定是在他最精华的时候。
Today, a company will use a particular employee who is at his or her prime.
有一些在加州矽谷那些科技的人才都是在他们年轻 很有才华、很有创意的时候，他们才要的。
For example, a lot of the employees that work in Silicon Valley in California, they are coveted because of their youth and their creativity and talent.
当他们年纪大了，他们比较没有那些创新的想法的时候，那公司就不要了。
Once they are older and no longer as creative, they are not sought after anymore by the company.
但是在旷野的教会当中，神的做法跟他完全不一样。
But in the church in the wilderness, God's way is completely different.
摩西40岁的时候，神就把他送到米甸的旷野去，经过40年。
When Moses was 40 years old, God sent him into the wilderness of Midian to be trained for 40 years.
那经过那40年，他几乎可以说不再学习东西，而且慢慢的就忘掉了那些学问，他也不知道怎么说话了。
And over those 40 years, he stopped learning anything. He slowly forgot about all of his knowledge that he had previously gained, and he even forgot how to speak.
那到80岁的时候，神才派他。
And then when he was 80 years old, that was when God sent him.
因为这才是神所要用的器皿。
Because then he became a vessel that God wanted to use.
我们看同样这一章。
Let us continue to read this chapter.
第37节。
Verse 37.
那曾对以色列人说，神要从你们弟兄中间给你们兴起一位先知，像我的，就是这位摩西。
This is that Moses who said to the children of Israel, The Lord your God will raise up for you a prophet like me from your brethren. Him you shall hear.
我们知道，尤其在36节那个地方讲到说，摩西他不管是在埃及、在红海的事情上，在旷野，他行了很多的神迹奇事。
From verse 36, we can see that whether it was in the land of Egypt or at the Red Sea or in the wilderness for 40 years, Moses performed many wonders and signs.
那37节这个地方所说的，神要从你们弟兄中间给你们兴起一位先知，像摩西。
Then in verse 37, the Lord God says that he will raise up a prophet like Moses from among the people.
那这当然是一个弥赛亚的应许。
And of course, this is a prophecy about the Messiah.
神要在他们弟兄当中给他们兴起弥赛亚。
That God will raise up for them a prophet like a Messiah among brethren.
那我们知道说，当主耶稣来的时候，同样的，他行了很多的神迹奇事。
So we know that when Jesus came, he too performed many miracles and signs.
但是我们知道这个地方说这位兴起的先知像摩西不只是在讲到说他也要行很多神迹奇事。
But we also understand that here, when it says that this prophet that will be raised up is like Moses, is not just saying that he will also perform miracles and signs.
他会，但是不只是说这样子。
He will perform miracles and signs, but not only so.
请看《申命记》18章。
Let's turn to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 18.
申命记第18章的18节。
Deuteronomy chapter 18, verse 18.
看19节。
And 19.
神说：“我必在他们弟兄中间给他们兴起一位先知，像你。我要将当说的话传给他，他要将我一切所吩咐的都传给他们。谁不听他奉我名所说的话，我必讨谁的罪。”
Verses 18 and 19. I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brethren, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And it shall be that whoever will not hear my words which he speaks in my name, I will require it of him.
这个地方特别讲说，会像摩西是在像摩西这样子神要将他一切所吩咐的都告诉他，让他来传给那些人。
Here it especially says that he will be like Moses in the sense that God will put his words in his mouth, and he shall speak to the people all that is commanded him.
重要的是要传神的话。
The important focus is on preaching God's words.
我们请看约翰福音的第14章。
Let's turn to the book of John, chapter 14.
看当主耶稣来的时候，他怎么做？
And we can see what Jesus did when he came.
我们请看第14章第10节。
John chapter 14, verse 10.
约翰福音第14章第10节。
John chapter 14, verse 10.
耶稣说：“我在父里面，父在我里面，你不信吗？我对你们所说的话，不是凭着自己说的，乃是住在我里面的父做他自己的事。”
Verse 10. Do you not believe that I am in the Father and the Father in me? The words that I speak to you, I do not speak on my own authority, but the Father who dwells in me does the works.
所以我们知道说，主耶稣来，他就是在做神的事情，他说的话完全是天父所说的。
Therefore, we understand that when Jesus came, he did all of his works were the works of God, and everything he spoke of were the words from the Father.
那我们知道说，当这些百姓他们在旷野的时候司提反说这是旷野的教会。
When they described the Israelites in the wilderness, Stephen referred to them as the church in the wilderness.
因为他是跟外界没有接触的，他是跟外面没有受外来的影响的。
Because they were isolated from others around them, and they were not influenced by anyone around them.
那他们是神亲自在带领的。
They were guided personally by God.
而是借着神借着摩西把神要说的话来告诉百姓。
And it was through Moses that the words of God were conveyed to the people.
就好像使徒行传第7章这个地方所说的。
Just like what is recorded in Acts chapter 7.
这位摩西他是从神来领受的圣言，就是神的话语来传给百姓。
That God gave, in verse 38, how Moses received words from God to give to the people.
所以我们知道说，神亲自带领，然后神把他的话语来交给这些百姓。
So we know that God himself was guiding the people. God was the one who spoke to the people.
那我们今天同样的在教会里面，我们也是要有神亲自在带领，我们也要常常能够领受神的话语。
So in the church today, we too must receive the guidance of God, and we must also often hear the words of God.
请看马太福音的第16章。
Let's turn to the book of Matthew, chapter 16.
马太福音第16章。
Matthew chapter 16,
18节。
verse 18. Verse
马太福
18.
音16章18节。
Matthew 16:18.
这个地方主耶稣说：“我还告诉你，你是彼得，我要把我的教会建造在这磐石上，阴间的权柄不能胜过他。”
Verse 18. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it.
我们知道彼得这个名字它是石头的意思，它在那个希腊文圣经里面，它是 a piece of rock 它是一块石一颗石头。
The name Peter means a piece of rock.
那主耶稣说：“我要把我的教会建造在这磐石上。”这个磐石这个磐石是一个 a mass of rock， 是一大片的一整片的一块石头。
And Jesus says that on this rock I will build my church. On this rock is talking about a mass of rock. Or very
那
big
这个
rock.
磐石就好像哥林多前书第10章第4节那个地方所说的那个灵磐石，就是基督同一个字。
This word rock here is the same as the one in 1 Corinthians talking about the spiritual rock, which was referring to the Lord Jesus.
所以主耶稣要把他的教会要建造在这磐石上，指的就是耶稣基督自己，或者是说 天父所指示彼得的那个指示，那个启示。
And so here, when it says that on this rock I will build my church, it is referring to on the Lord Jesus, or on the one Peter that has been selected,
inspired, revealed,
inspired.
revelation 那这个地方又讲说，阴间的权柄不能胜过他。
Here it also says the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it.
这个他可以指的这个磐石，也可以指的教会。
It may refer to the rock or the church.
阴间的权柄就是死死的权柄。
And here the gates of Hades refer to the authority of death.
它是不能够胜过教会的，当然不能够胜过基督。
It is unable to prevail against the church, and obviously it cannot prevail against Christ.
这个地方第18节这个地方的这个教会它是在四福音里面2次讲到教会一个在18章，一个在马太福音18章，一个在这里。
And this church here is described twice in the gospel books, once here and once in Matthew chapter 18.
那这个教会这个字，也就是我们刚才使徒行传第7章那个旷野中的教会同样的一个字。
And the word church here is also the same church as the one in Acts chapter 7 when it talks about the congregation or church in the wilderness.
意思就是说，如果说一个人他能够信心坚定，能够留在这个教会里面坚持到底。
This all tells us that if a person is able to sustain their faith and keep within the church until the end,
那他的生命能够胜过死亡的权柄。
then that person's life will be able to overcome the authority or domain of death.
所以我们要认识我们这个教会。
Therefore, we need to understand or know our church.
因为主耶稣给教会这个权柄能够胜过阴间。
Because Lord Jesus has given the church the authority to overcome Hades.
我们看过来申命记的第8章。
Let us return to the book of Deuteronomy, to chapter 8.
申命记第8章第1节这里。
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 1.
这里说摩西说，我今日所吩咐的一切诫命，你们要谨守遵行，好叫你们存活，人数增多，且进去得耶和华向你们列祖起誓应许的那地。
Verse 1, every commandment which I command you today, you must be careful to observe, that you may live and multiply and go in and possess the land of which the Lord swore to your fathers.
摩西虽然是在向摩押平原那边这些百姓说的话。
Even though at this point in time Moses was speaking to the people in the plain of Moab.
但是我们知道说他们是那旷野中的教会，它是在预表着今天我们在末后的真教会。
But we also understand that this church in the wilderness also refers to as well the true church in today's time.
那我们知道说，我们如果能够谨守遵行神的一切的吩咐，那我们就要活过旷野。
So this tells us that if we're able to keep to every command of God, then we shall live and we shall go through the wilderness.
那也就是说，我们过完这个旷野的人生，我们要进入神所应许给我们的将来要去的那美地。
And it tells us that after we have gone through this life of wilderness, then we will enter into the promised beautiful land of God.
我们看第2节。
Let's read verse 2.
你也要纪念耶和华你的神在旷野引导你这40年，是要苦练你、试验你，要知道你心内如何，肯守他的诫命不肯。第3节。
Verse 3.
他苦练你，任你饥饿，将你和你列祖所不认识的玛拿赐给你吃，使你知道人活着不是单靠食物，乃是靠神口里所出的一切话。
Verses 2 and 3. And you remember that the Lord your God led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness to humble you and to test you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. So he humbled you, allowed you to hunger, and fed you with manna which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you know what that man shall not live by bread alone, but man lives by every word that proceeds from the mouth of the Lord.
神他在旷野中，在引导那些百姓，他用40年来苦练他们，来试验他们。
God was training these people in the wilderness using 40 years to train them.
那这个试验跟苦练的目的，就是要让他们能够守神的诫命。
And the purpose of all of this training was so that they would keep his commandments.
那我们今天也是一样。
It is the same for us today.
这信仰的人生就如同旷野一样。
Our life of faith is just like being in the wilderness.
那我们在这个信仰的人生当中，有时候也会遭遇到非常苦的事。
And in our life of wilderness, sometimes we will also have to meet up with difficult afflictions.
有时候是一些生活上的困难或者是在生活当中所遭遇的一些危险。
Sometimes it has to do with our livelihood. Sometimes our life is even put in danger.
那我们看一下第8章的11节。
Let's read chapter 8, verse 11.
一直读到第16节。
To 16.
你要谨慎，免得忘记耶和华你的神，不守他的诫命、典章、律例，就是我今日所吩咐你的。恐怕你吃得饱足，建造美好的房屋居住，你的牛羊加多，你的金银增添，并你所有的全都加增，你就心高气傲，忘记耶和华你的神，就是将你从埃及地为奴之家领出来的。15节，引你经过那大而可怕的旷野，那里有火蛇、蝎子、干旱无水的地，他曾为你使水从坚硬的磐石中流出来，又在旷野将你列祖所不认识的玛拿赐给你吃，是要苦练你、试验你，叫你终究享福。
Verses 12 to 16. Lest when you have eaten and are full and have built beautiful houses and dwell in them, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and your gold are multiplied, and that all you have is multiplied, when your heart is lifted up and you forget the Lord your God who brought you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led you through the great and terrible wilderness in which were fiery serpents and scorpions and thirsty land where there was no water, who brought out water for you out of the flinty rock, who fed you in the wilderness with manna which your fathers did not know, that he might humble you and that he might test you to do you good in the end.
我们知道教会就好像当时的那些旷野中的那些以色列百姓。
The church is just like the people in the wilderness at the time.
那我们也是跟那些百姓一样，我们会经过这个大而可怕的旷野，就是我们这个信仰的人生有种种的挑战。
And like the people in the wilderness, we too will go through the wilderness, the great and terrible wilderness, which talks about the challenges we face in our life.
那神让我们在这个人生的旷野当中，这样去经历它他在试验我们，在苦练我们让我们能够好好的来守住神的话语。
And God is allowing us to go through this great and terrible wilderness to train us and to teach us so that we will learn to keep his words.
就好像前面第3节所说的。
Just like what is written in verse 3.
他说他苦练你，任你饥饿，将你和你列祖所不认识的玛拿赐给你吃，使你知道人活着不是单靠食物，乃是靠神口里所出的一切话。
So he humbled you, allowed you to hunger, and fed you with manna which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you know that man shall not live by bread alone, but man lives by every word that proceeds from the mouth of the Lord.
那旷野本来是人没有办法生活下去的地方。
The wilderness is supposed to be a place where people are unable to live.
但是呢，百姓能够活过旷野。
But the people were able to live in the wilderness.
因为神用玛拿，用磐石出来的水来养活他们。
because God used manna and the water from the rock to feed them.
但更重要的就是神用他的话语来维持他们的生命。
More importantly, God used his words to sustain their life.
所以虽然有玛拿有水，但是更重要的是神的话让他们活过旷野。
So even though they had water and manna, what was more important is that God's words led them through the wilderness.
当一个人他能够用心的去遵守神的话语，
When a person is able to put their heart into keeping the words of God,
那他必然能够经过那大而可怕的旷野，然后进入那应许的美地。
then that person will be able to go through that great and terrible wilderness and enter into the promised land.
我们一起来唱诗171首。
Let us now sing hymn 171.